Welcome to the world of history. In my previous lesson, we have started with the first chapter of class 8, Traces of Modern Indian History. In this chapter, we have dealt with the content. History means what? I have cleared your doubts over it. Then we went to periodization, where we have seen that the Indian history has been divided into three parts by Scottish historian James Mill. He named it as Hindu, Muslims, and English, but it was criticized by many other historians and it was named as ancient, medieval, and modern. Then we have seen colonization. Colonization means when a country acquires control over other country in political, social, economic, and cultural aspects. This is termed as colonization. Then we have seen about various modern Indian history sources. From where do we get the knowledge of this history? From where do we get this history? Modern history, the Britishers era. What are the sources from where we get? So today, in today's chapter, we are going to have a detailed information about these sources. So our first source comes administrative records. The most important of the information comprises administrative records, that is, official documents. The British officials not only believe in keeping a record of every official proceedings but also carefully preserved the important documents and papers, set up a specialized institutions such as archives and museums to preserve the record. The best example of these national archives are National Archives of India at New Delhi and Indian Office Record at London. My dear children, administrative record means whatever administration Britishers have done in India, they have kept a record of that. Now let me give you an example for this. You people are there in the school, okay? After passing out your 10th standard, you will get your TC, okay? In your TC, everything necessary information is mentioned: your name, your caste, your birth date, place of birth, your father's name, mother's name, school, the date from where you are getting admission in the school, okay, and the date where you have passed out the school. This is called TC, transfer certificate. But one administrative record is kept in school also, that is called general register, GR register, which the same example I have given you before also, that a general register has to be maintained by every school, and we are having the record of each and every child whomsoever is admitted in our school. So these admitted children are these records are kept in the school. So whenever any necessary information is to be taken away by for any government proceedings or any important work for any students, they can get the information from the school. This is called administrative record. In the same way, whatever work were done by the government, British government or British officials or the British company, that is East India Company, they have kept each and every record with them. So administrative records are kept. So you will find administrative records at National Archives of India at New Delhi. It's the office where every administrative record done by the Britishers are kept, and India Office record at London. So in London also they are having an office or a record room where records have been kept, whatever work has been done in India. Now you see many of the construction sites which were developed under the British rule, like railways, roads, okay, post office. These all things were started by Britishers only in India. Earlier we were not having such type of facilities over here. So all the records, whatever they have built, even they have built a single wall also, so they have kept a record of that. That's called administrative record. See, the page displays a guide of India Office record from year 1600 to 1858. So this is a copy of record. One record it is kept in India Office record of London. So you can see on the display, this is a guide of the records kept by the Britishers. The next part is diaries, autobiographies, and travelogues. So this comprises many of the things. For example, I live in British era, and whatever things I have observed during the British rule, if I maintain a diary, I will write down the diary. As I have given you an example of letter, that I have written a letter in 2020 and the person finds out that letter in 2050, you will come to know whatever events were had happened in 2020. So you can have an outlook over it. All the best purpose of official record helps us to derive much information about modern period has only about official views, interest and wishes of British, but if you look beyond these, there are diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims, travelers, autobiographies and biographies of famous personalities, which gives us more information about the past. So there are autobiographies, there are travelogues written up by travelers, those who came for to travel or to have an outlook over the administration of the government. Then diaries which were maintained by the famous personalities, for example, autobiography of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru towards India or towards freedom, awaiting for a visa, written by Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, that is My Experiment with Truth. So what are these things? These things reveal some fact about the British era. उस ज़माने के कुछ फैक्ट्स ये रिवील करते हैं कि इस तरीके से ब्रिटिश होते थे, इस तरीके से उनका रूल होता था, इस तरीके से वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करते थे, इंडियंस को इस तरीके से सफ़र करना पड़ा, तो वो हमको नॉलेज देते हैं. सो इन सारी चीज़ों से हमको ज्ञान मिलता है. वी रीड इट आउट एंड वी क्रिएट एन इमेज. We create an image how Indians used to suffer, how Indians used to have their lives under the British rule. The next part is I'm displaying a story, a few of the autobiographies. Story of My Experiment with Truth, written by Mahatma Gandhi or Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. An autobiography of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Waiting for a Visa. These are the copies. You can have a look over it. Newspaper, magazine, letters and pamphlets. Now these are the other sources of history from where we get the knowledge of history. The introduction of printing press gave importance to production of books. So in that era, printing press was introduced by Britishers, and it also emphasized, it also increased the production of books, and many of the scholars and literate people, they started printing their own views in they started making their own books. Also newspapers were introduced at that time. Bengal Gazette was the first newspaper, which was started in 1700s by James Hickey. It was started in Bengal. The introduction of printing press gave importance to production of books and newspaper. The ideas and thoughts of eminent personalities by documented. Several newspapers, magazines, pamphlets were introduced in regional language to spread their ideas. Newspaper played a vital role in national awakening, very useful for study of the freedom struggle. So these are the things which are very useful for the freedom struggle. Now if we find out the newspapers of that time, so we will come to know about the news also. Likewise today, for example, take it as an example that earthquake had occurred in Jalna or Maharashtra, or some of the district of Maharashtra or India. So today's dated, the date will be there over the newspaper and the news will be there. So if these news, if a person from now to 30 to 40 years or 50 years ahead from today gets that newspaper, he will come to know that what had happened in the past. In the same manner, the newspapers from the past, which were started in 1600, 17 or 1800s, they give us knowledge of the past, what incidents had occurred during the British period. I am giving you some examples of the newspapers. These are the Bengal Gazette, which was started by James Hickey. There is a news in that. These are the newspapers which were started by the Indians too. Kesari was started by Lokmanya Tilak. Harijan was started by Mahatma Gandhi, and many more newspapers, Young India, National Hero. These were the newspapers of that time, which emphasized, which gave more broad knowledge over the incident which had happened in the past. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Kesari in Marathi played a great role in molding the public opinion during the freedom struggle. Books such as Poverty and Un-British Rule, written by Dadabhai Naoroji, are important in order to understand the economic history of this period. Personal correspondence, official letters, and national leaders, great historical personalities, and of the British official provide a window to peep into the past. For example, letter written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to his daughter Indira Gandhi are very useful source to understand the prevailing situation of that time. So these are the things which gave us more knowledge over the history. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, when he was involved in the freedom struggle of India, he used to write letters to his daughter Indira Gandhi, who was studying in London. So in that letters he used to write the events what had happened in India, so as to make aware her daughter about the prevailing conditions of India, and to give her more knowledge over the Indian administration and the Indian condition of that time. Historical buildings, photographs, and paintings. Definitely, the buildings were whatever were made in that time. Like you have learnt in your seventh standard about Taj Mahal. So you, while reading about Taj Mahal, you come to know about the Indo-Islamic architecture, the style, how it was made, who were the workers who were involved in making of the Taj Mahal, from where the marble was brought, what was the infrastructure of the Taj Mahal. So historical monuments such as Gateway of India, yes, definitely Gateway of India, Rashtrapati Bhavan, and many more buildings are there which were constructed during the British style, and their architecture was different. Like you have seen Dravida architecture, Indo-Islamic architecture, and the architecture which was carried out by the Britishers was named as Gothic architecture. So these architectural styles prevalent during the period of British, they also furnish knowledge about political development of the region. So how the development was done, how the architecture was done, what was the quality of architecture, what was the theme behind that. So all these things, the buildings also reveal the history about the particular event or the India. The walls of India Gate bear the names of Indian soldiers and British officers who died in World War I and the Afghan War fighting for the British. So if you find out India Gate in Delhi, you will find out names of the warriors or the soldiers who were martyrs. We will call them martyrs in spite of uh, died soldiers. More, it will give them respect, calling them martyrs. So the names were written over India Gate. Still now, the people, the soldiers who are martyrs or who die in the wars or Indian wars, their names are written on India Gate. So this was the tradition which was started by the Britishers. I am displaying some of the images which will give more knowledge to you about the particular thing. So this is the India Gate, which is built up in Delhi. This is the wall of India Gate where you will find out the names of the martyrs written over there. I am marking out the names of the warriors. You can read it out. I am just pointing out some points. You can read out the names very clearly. So these were the names which are written up of the martyrs who died in Afghan War and World War One. The Gateway of India was built by British to commemorate the visit of King George V and Queen Mary to Mumbai in December 1911. This can be understood from the message inscribed about the beautiful ark. So you can find out the ark over India Gate, this ark which I am displaying right now. You can find it out, this ark erected to commemorate the landing in India of the Imperial Majesties King George V and Queen Mary on the 2nd of December, that is 1911. So this is inscribed over there. इंस्क्रिप्शन का मतलब होता है लिखा हुआ, पत्थर पे लिखी हुई चीज़ को इंस्क्रिप्शन बोलते हैं. सो दिस इज इंस्क्राइब्ड ओवर देयर एंड स्टिल टुडे गेटवे ऑफ इंडिया विच इज बिल्ट अप इन मुंबई, you will find out this inscription written over there on the arc of Gateway of India. This is Gateway of India, and you will find out this arc which I am marking right now. This arc displays that message of the arrival of King George V and Queen Mary. Again, photograph is a speechless eyewitness which can integrate in words. It is usually recorded source that conveys many historical facts and realities. The pictures of Gateway of India is a photographic representation. It is located in Mumbai but can be viewed by anyone living in distant places, provides the exact image of the present day state. Now if you see this image of Gateway of India, you will find out a particular thing. Yes, this is Gateway of India. Gateway of India इस तरह से दिखता है, ठीक है. Though we are not seeing it by our live eyes or naked eyes, live in front of us, but seeing the photograph we can come to a conclusion that yes, it is like this only. Many of the people might have not seen Statue of Liberty, but seeing the photograph we come to know, okay, this is Statue of Liberty. Many of us have not seen Eiffel Tower, but still if we see the photograph of Eiffel Tower we come to a conclusion, yes, this is Eiffel Tower. So these are the things. Photographs also provides us something which had happened in the past. So we have not seen Gandhi ji, but we see photographs of Gandhi ji, black and white photographs of Gandhi ji. So we come to know about, yes, this is Gandhi ji, and he was doing Dandi March or other marches, whatever were involved in India's struggle for freedom. So photographs from the past also gives us some important knowledge or a broad outlook over the past history. Another important thing is painting. So during the era of Britishers, many of the painters or many of the artists, they evolved and they painted many other things, like Raja Ravi Verma, Sharda Ukil. Raja Ravi Verma is marked as one of the famous personalities. He has introduced Western style of painting in India. So, okay, he introduced Western methods and techniques in the Indian art. Sharda Ukil, again one of the most important personalities. She also has introduced many of the things from the past in his paintings. So you can see the paintings which I am displaying over here. You can see paintings of war, British administration, the warriors, the sepoys during the British era. And you can come to a conclusion. Okay, you can make an image. Yeah, this was the image, this was the situation at that time, how people used to rule. Many of us have not seen our kings and queens, but they used to make portraits. So seeing that portrait, we come to know this is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, or this is Akbar, this is Jahangir, this is all the kings and queens, whatever portraits are available. Okay, Maharana Pratap's portrait is available. So we come to know, we can create a rough image that this was the personality, this was the look, ये इस तरीके से दिखते थे, इस तरीके से इनकी personality थी. So photographs and paintings provide us some knowledge about the past. Surveys and mappings, definitely this is another source of history. The surveys and mapping department was developed by the Britishers in 1767, and Britishers used to have a detailed survey wherever they used to administer, wherever they used to rule. They used to have a detailed survey over the area. They used to see the topography of the land. They used to see the soil, flora and fauna, agricultural pattern, land. Okay, all these things were seen by the Britishers. They were very keen and concerned about their administration work. It was Mr. William Lambton and Sir George Everest who completed the work of gathering data of Indian terrain. Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world, was discovered by Survey of India in 1865. It was named after Sir George Everest, the British Surveyor General of India. So this also creates a question: who was the first British Surveyor General of India? It was George Everest. After him, Mount Everest was named. In 1865, Mount Everest was founded. From the end of 19th century, the census, yes, this is one of the most important part which we people come to know, we people come across, and you will come across throughout your life. Being the future of the nation, you should know what is census. It is held every 10 years, has enabled administration to prepare detailed records of the number of people living in India. Information pertinent to their caste, religion and occupation was also collected. So this is the thing which is very much important, my dear children. What is census? Census क्यों किया जाता है? Definitely most of the people, those who are not having knowledge, they will come to conclusion that census should not be attended, but this is totally wrong. Census should be attended because for example, our house is having population of 10 people. We are having 10 people in our house, and if we do not know the exact number, so it will be very much difficult for a person to administer a house. Let me give you a short example that if we are having a marriage, we make an estimation that we are going to make food for 250 people or 500 people or 1000 people. The number of people we have distributed, the number of cards we have distributed, so we get an rough image or rough idea about the people or the uh, guests, those who are coming to our marriage. So if you do not get that idea how much people are coming to our marriage, how much people are going to attend the marriage, we will not be able to provide facilities to that particular group of people which they are coming. For example, we have not segregated the cards and we have just said that today is a marriage at our home, you can anybody can come, and we have prepared food for only 1000 people, and if there are 1200 people or 1500 people, so there will be a shortage of food. So this is census. ये सेंसस इसीलिए होता है कि हमारे देश में, हमारे राज्य में, हमारे स्टेट में कितने लोग रहते हैं, so that government could provide facilities to the number of people. So if census which occurs in 2000 which had occurred in 2011, now it is going to be done in 2021, We are supposed to give a detailed information about every particular person living in our house. Whether you are four kids, whether you are five kids, whether you are two kids, mummy, papa, their occupation, your educational qualification, everything is supposed to be given to the census so that the government could make facilities and they should provide good facilities to the people. The first census of India was done in 1830 by Henry Walter in Dhaka, Bangladesh. It was done. Today Dhaka, it is located in Bangladesh. So first census of India was done in 1830. This is the important question which may come in your MCQs. Oral sources and films. This is the last part of our chapter. Oral sources, the sources of history apart from everything which are having proofs like autobiographies, biographies, diaries, newspaper, pamphlets, administrative records, then surveys and mappings. Apart from these are also sources called oral sources and films which gives us more import, uh, which throw light over the past events. Oral history is the memory of living people about events or social conditions with their experience in their life taped and preserved as historical evidence. Now, if we are living in the world 2020, so one day 2020 will also become a past. So if we are living in 2020 and if we survive till 2070 or 80, we will become a source. We will also become a source because we will share our knowledge of 2020, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, so on our lifelong journey. So these are oral sources. Now the person who was living during the British era, like your grandfather or your forefathers, they might be surviving, they might be there at the uh, era of 1945 or 1940. They might be sharing. If you have grandfathers, well and good, you can ask their past, so they will throw some light over the history. Many of our parents also share their past events, such as the rates of particular things like petrol. Your father might be saying that petrol was 20 liters per liter, 20 rupees per liter during our childhood. Now it is so high, prices have gone to the sky. Films is the next part. Films also play a vital role in providing historical knowledge about certain events and incidents happened in the past. So there are films which are made upon the historical incidents. Now Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Shahid Bhagat Singh, Mahatma Gandhi, over their lives. Many of the films like Mangal Pandey. Then you have historical films. They are now emerging. Tanaji is the most important now. Film which displays the life of Tanaji. So there are films such as Khele Hum Ji Jaan Se, Shahid, Gandhi, throw some knowledge over past incident of our history. These are the films like Lagan, Gandhi, which I am displaying over my board, Shahid Bhagat Singh and Mangal Pandey. So these films gives us some uh, image. Give us some knowledge about the past history of British era. This So that's all for the lesson. Thank you. For any doubts, you can ask me, you can comment. Thank you. Have a nice day.